Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
and this is a How Hustle Mystic Morning Show. Today, we're talking with Ginette Biro, and she is going to enlighten us on how we can connect with our galactic family and really create a better life by doing so.
Yes, a couple words about Ginette. Ginette is divinely connected, divinely inspired. Ginette is a powerful medium who is clairaudient, clairvoyant, and clairsentient, as well as claircognizant. She can hear, see, feel, and know information from spirit from other dimensions. Since Jeanette was a child, she's been able to channel beings from the fourth and 12th dimensions, connecting people to the other side and bringing messages to inspire and inform the world. Jeanette has many spirit guides and has ascended masters and beings who are guiding her to support the planet in its ascension. In addition to these remarkable gifts, she has spent soul time on the other side through a near-death experience. This has allowed her to see and understand our life blueprint, and our soul's journey actually works.
Love
So,
it.
welcome, Jeanette. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
We got a lot from your bio, but can you take the audience back and to how this all began for you?
Yeah, so it's funny because when I was listening to it, I was like, gosh, I don't even know where to start. So I'm glad you
Mm-hmm.
prompted that because there's so many tangents. I mean, with all of our journeys, right? If you look back on your own life, there's so many tangents your journey takes. And sometimes you can kind of see where they're going. Other times they just kind of happen to you. And so I find in retrospect, when we look back on things is when we gain the most clarity versus when we're standing there, at the edge of this new path, wondering what the heck is going to be happening, right? So in retrospect, my gifts started to come in when I was even like 5 years old. So I didn't understand it at the time. I wasn't raised in a family of mediums or channelers or anything like that. But I used to be able to feel a presence in my room at nighttime.
Yeah,
I could tell that there were
yeah.
people in my room at nighttime, but I couldn't see them yet. So I used to be terrified to go to sleep, and I would sleep with a blanket over my face and like just so afraid that I would open my eyes and see someone.
Yeah, I've had that big time.
Yeah, right. It's quite common. And so life kind of carried on. By the age of around 15, my grandmother passed away. And I was always really close with her, but we'd never discussed what would happen when she crossed over. Like we
Mm.
never went there. But when she passed, I just had this knowing I would see her. And I was terrified. I was like, please don't come see me. Don't show up. Don't, I just didn't want to see it.
Oh, right.
And so for
I,
2 weeks, I went
I
to
was
sleep
scared you
every
like that
night.
too. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so for 2 weeks, I went to sleep every night, begging her not to show up. And then I finally calmed down. Sure enough, she came to me in a dream, a very vivid dream. She walked into my room in her white blouse and her blue slacks that she'd always wear. And I said, I'm like, oh my gosh, you found a way to do this without scaring me.
Nice.
And she
Mm-hmm.
said, yeah, absolutely. I have no desire to scare you. And we talked about how she was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, this, was a dream, right? That's what it was. It was a dream.
Yeah.
And
No.
then, fast forward to about 17 years old is when I started to like hear spirit in my mind. And that was very confusing because I was like, what's mine? What's not? So
Mm-hmm.
that led me down a trail of exploring anxiety and what that meant for me and how my mind worked. And, um, and then it wasn't until I was about 21-ish that the mediumship stuff started really happening. And I started seeing things, seeing spirits, seeing shadows, knowing things and all of this. And so from the age of, well, actually, it was probably around 22. One day I was standing in my bedroom, nobody was home, and I was doing laundry, just me and my little cat at the time. We're home, and I hear this voice at the end of my hall say, look down the hall. Like he called me up. He said, Ginette, look down the hall. And I froze and probably said every profanity possible out of
Yeah.
terror again. And again, he's like, Ginette, look down the hall. And so I looked down the hall and I saw this man standing at the end of my hallway, slightly hologram-like. He
Mm-hmm.
had military fatigues on, but I recognized him. And my cat, though, who was alive at the time, was staring up at him and her tail was wagging. So it was this moment for me of knowing she sees him and I see him.
Yeah.
And so I share this story because this was the point for me when all of those things in my past started to kind of fall into a pathway of like, this means something. And I decided at that point to dive in and explore. Turns out he's one of my spirit guides. And I spent the next couple of years diving into mediumship, learning everything I possibly could. And then I started doing readings and so on, which then led me to the point of, at this point, I'd already been a medium with clients by word of mouth for close to a decade.
Wow.
And then that's when I had my near-death experience in 2019. So, how deeply do you want me to go into my
No,
we're right here hanging on every word.
We are hanging on every word.
Some people can find some pieces of your journey, and then also it's just interesting to understand how this comes to be. And I was going to make a joke about it. I was like, so the mediumship and all of that wasn't enough, and then you had to go in the near-death experience, like
Right.
ay,
Right?
ay, ay.
It gets crazier. It essentially
Yes.
is the path that led me to the Galactics, which we will talk about.
Yes.
So I want to back up one little piece with the Galactics. About, say around 2011, near-death experience was 2019. In 2011, already starting to work as a medium, feeling comfortable in what I thought I knew, right? What I thought I knew. And I once had these three beings come to me in vision state, which was normal. And they had cloaks on. And I remember saying to them, like, oh, okay, take your cloaks off so I can see who you are.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we want you to get to know us first. And then we will show you who we are because you won't handle it. They said it much nicer than that. But essentially it was like, you won't be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So I got to know them over several months and got to really trust in what they were sharing. And they taught me so much. And then one day, because again, my mediumship at this point consisted of spirit guides, departed loved ones, and angels.
Yeah.
That to me was the realm of what was okay. And one day, these three monks decided to take their cloaks off. And when I looked at them, they were blue, they were tall, and what I learned was they were Pleiadian.
Yeah.
And that threw me for such a loop at the time because I was like, great, thanks. This is the point where mediums sound crazy because now I'm talking to aliens, right?
Yes.
And I was like, thank you so much for this. And I quit. I was like, I quit mediumship, which lasted about 2 months. But it took me a while to come to terms with that. So I share that piece because I want people to know I really understand the process of our evolution of our open-mindedness. It has to come in phases, right? Like
Yes.
we can't force it. So I had a period where it was really challenging for me to accept that. So they didn't come around for about 3 years at that point before they started to slowly come back around. So anyways, during this time, lots of mediumship readings. I felt like I had a really good understanding of the soul's journey when it's crossing over. I'd heard hundreds of stories from souls explaining all the ways that they crossed over, what it felt like from a very natural death to car accidents to old age to falling asleep at night crossing to even really gruesome experiences. Like I felt quite confident. So then comes the time of my near-death experience in 2019. At this point, I had been getting really sick. I had really, really horrendous monthly cycles. So my period was very, very heavy, and I know a lot of women are like, yeah, I get it. I was basically hemorrhaging every month, and it got to the point that any other interventions weren't working. So we decided we would do a surgery, and very routine surgery would only take about 20 minutes. And the leading up about the week before my surgery, my guides came in one time when we were out camping, and I should not have been camping at that point, but I didn't want to disappoint my kids. They were little at the time. So they were off doing stuff and I was sleeping in the tent because that's pretty much all I could do. And this huge gust of wind comes in and wakes me up. And Spirit says, you need to remember this. What was to be Avalon is now Aurora. I'm like, okay, got it. Thanks. Avalon, auroras, sure. And they wouldn't let it go. They're like, no, you need to remember it. You need to remember this. Write this down. And I was like, okay, I got it. What does it mean? And they wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
And so what I began to understand was that Avalon was this reference for the other side, heaven, the afterlife. And the aurora represented something changing. The auroras come in when there's change, right? And I was like, okay, whatever, not quite sure. So then the night before my surgery, I remember looking outside in the backyard at my husband, and he almost looked like he was glowing. And the sky was even more vibrant. The grass was more vibrant. Like everything was more vibrant. And I remember just taking this in and being like, wow. And he was just cutting the grass, right? Like, and so I really remembered that vividness. So the next day, they prepped me for surgery. They're wheeling me in, and I've had surgery before, and I'm not normally excited before surgery, right? Kind of like nervous. This one, there was this like excitement, like the best way I can explain it. And I use this version every time. You know, when you were a kid and you're waiting to go down a water slide, and you're so excited for the water slide, and you're like waiting for the guard to say your turn. That's how I felt before going in. And so as soon as they were ready to put me under, I was like, yes, let's go. Although I expected some sort of astral journey or some, you know, just like an astral travel or something. As soon as they put me under, though, what happened is I popped onto the other side. And I knew I was on the other side because it was so tangible. It was as tangible as like my hands are to me right now, is how it was on the other side. And none of my astral travels are like that. I'm usually, you could envision it like a spirit moving through different places, observing it, but not.
I get you.
Right. Right. Very cool. Like you were really there.
It was legit. I was there. And even like when spirits show me how they've crossed and what it's like on the other side for them, it's like I'm always looking at it through a window.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
On a screen, like I'm observing it. I'm not in it.
Yes.
Right.
Whereas I was in this. I landed with my bare feet on the grass, and I could feel the grass under my toes, and I could zoom in on every like strand of grass if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And it was vibrant. It was so vibrant. And I started walking up this hill, and the sky was just beautiful, beautiful summer blue sky. And I happened upon this like a summer barbecue picnic type thing. And it was so interesting because I knew I was on the other side without a doubt. There wasn't any fear.
Yeah.
And when I arrived at this kind of picnic, there was all these beautiful souls that I knew from this lifetime, past lifetimes. My grandmother who was in spirit was there. My other grandmother was there. And it was this beautiful, like, reunion of souls. It was like the best hugs when you haven't seen your best friend in forever and you just like grab them and you're all in. It was like that. And I spent what felt like hours there, hours. There was no rush, talking to all the different souls, catching up where we left off. Like even ones from lifetimes before. I remember being like, oh my God, how are you? What's been going on? It was so natural. And it was so beautiful. And then after that felt complete, and again, it felt like hours, my grandmother came and she brought me to this other place. And it was this white room with a giant white boardroom table. And there was these windows where it was like the galaxies were creating themselves at the edge of the universe. It's the only way I can explain it. And I was standing around this boardroom table. My guides and my council was with me. And they rolled out what looked like blueprints. And it was interesting because Spirit had always explained to me our life path like a tapestry, right? We weave this tapestry. And you know, you look at the back, sometimes it looks messy, but the front, you see the journey, right? So I'd always explained it like a tapestry. But my guides literally rolled out a blueprint of my life. And it was amazing to see. And I remember almost kind of laughing because I was like, this looks like a blueprint, like a legit blueprint.
Yes. That's so crazy because I wanted to know why we call it a
that's
blueprint.
your soul's path.
Yeah.
But
And
for
I
this
talk about
lifetime.
it. Yes.
so unless you, and now is that your soul's path, or do you have free will and you can fight it, right?
This is what we're going to
Yeah,
get
I
to.
know. I
It's a
know. I
perfect
know.
question because this
So
is
crazy,
exactly
but
what they taught. So what we did is, so first of all, when I looked at the blueprint, it almost sort of looked like, you know, when you take the subway or SkyTrain and there's like the path of the SkyTrain or subway and the different stops,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Kind of looked like that.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is in that main pathway was this like iridescent pulsing line. And I was given this instant understanding that my body was still alive. And I was like, okay. And we did a life review with my guides up until this very point of me standing there with them. So we went through my whole life review. Then when we got to this point, what was so interesting is they said to me, now that you've gotten to here, are you wanting to stay or do you want to go back? And I remember being like, oh, well, I want to go back. And they're like, okay, if you want to go back, you can. But if you don't, it's as easy as you will have a massive heart attack on the table. Your body is primed for it. And they showed it almost just like flicking a switch and they won't revive you. And I was like, no, I want to go back. And I was still under in surgery at this point, right? And they're like, okay, now since you're going back with what's remaining of your blueprint here of this lifetime, you can rearrange it.
Nice.
And so what I understood was before we come into this lifetime, we create the blueprint with our guides, with our higher self, with our soul understandings, and we create these different destiny points. And those are those little pieces like along the path, right?
The nexus points,
And
yeah.
they kind of look like fuses in a fuse box, like you could lift it out and put a different one in. And so when I was looking at what was remaining in my life, which I don't know how much that actually is, it looked like 6 inches. But when I try to look back in my memory of how long it was before, I'm not given the memory. I see my guide's shoulder. Right? But what they told me is they were like, you can change out the fuses or these destiny points. And so they're like, you can change as many as you want, but you will only consciously remember the first one you changed. The other ones you will remember when they happen.
Wow.
Like, wait, I call those signposts.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So the first one that I picked out was chronic illness. And so growing up, I was a really active kid, but I was also the kid that got sick with everything. Like I got H1N1 right before my wedding. I got flus, every flu that came around, I would get it. Any random illness, I would get it, right? Like I was just this kind of chronically ill kid, even though I still did a lot. And so the first fuse was removing chronic illness as like a lesson point for me.
Oh boy.
And I remember holding it up and being like, really, it's this simple? Like I just put this down and switch it? And they're like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, we'll see, right? So I put that in. And then I go through shifting a couple other ones. But again,
I love this so much.
They're like, you won't have the conscious memory of those other ones until they happen. So fine. So I finished doing that. And then my higher self came near me. And what was so interesting is my higher self, the way it showed itself, looked exactly like me as I do now. And I was talking to my higher self, fully conscious of the me.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, fully conscious as the higher self talking to me.
Oh, wow,
so
wow,
I was
wow.
conscious in both. It wasn't confusing.
Yes.
And so they asked me again at this point, they said, are you sure you want to stay? Or, sir, are you sure you want to go back or would you like to stay? And I was like, well, I'd love to go back for my kids and my family and all those things. And then my higher self explained to me how valuable a single human life is.
Yeah.
From that perspective, like my higher self was absolutely in love with my life. And I've had some really good things happen and I've had some really hard things happen, like everyone, right?
Yeah.
But my higher self loved it. Like, and just the love of like a kindergarten teacher when they see their student do something really wonderful, right? Like that beautiful kind of love. And I was just like, wow, that's so interesting, right? And so again, I was like, yes, I definitely want to come back. And at that point, my grandmother was with me again. And it was as soon as I said, yes, I definitely want to come back. This all happened in like a split second. But what happened was I heard the nurse say, Ginette, are you awake? Right? In the recovery room. I felt my spirit go like whoop into my body right away. My eyes were still closed, but I could still sense my grandmother with me. And when I come out of surgery, or if I take any kind of medication, like I'm loopy, I take children's dosing, right? Because I get really loopy. And so they hadn't given me pain meds yet. My higher self came in and spoke through me so clearly, because I've had a couple surgeries before, so I tend to try and have conversations that make no sense at all, right? Like that's my standard. My higher self came in right away. As soon as the nurse said, "Are you awake?" Spirit came back in my body. My higher self was like, "I need you to write something down. I need you to write down these 4 phrases. I need you to fold that paper up and put it in my hand." And the nurse was like, "Okay, sure. What is it?" You know?
Wow.
And so, yeah, like, so my higher self gave 4 kind of paired words. It wouldn't make sense to anybody listening. I have it framed. It was great Baba, tree roots, time to entwine, and I went far. Wow. So again, doesn't make sense to anyone, but
it kind of has a vibe though, doesn't it?
No, it totally does.
Yeah.
Right? And she did the same thing with the earrings, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
We'll share the story later.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, she folded the paper, put it in my hand, took me to recovery. Then they gave me pain meds and all of that. And it wasn't until a couple days later, when I had no more pain meds in my body and I was recovering and stuff, that my guides were like, "Okay, you need to go read that paper now." And I was like, okay. So I unfolded the paper. And as soon as I read those words, it ignited this knowledge. And the entire, like,
it's an unlock code. It's a key.
It totally was. It was totally a key code. And all the details came in, and it just flooded out of me. And I sat and I told my parents right away, because I was recovering with them while my husband had the kids, and told them the whole story. And then I wrote my book sharing the story. And so it was really that experience that propelled me, after that conscious experience, propelled me into 2 things. First was a hugely impactful understanding that conscious choice is one of our greatest gifts on this planet. And what I mean by that is, we consciously as a soul create the blueprint on the other side with our guides and our own experiences. We create that chronic illness, that terrible partner experience, that, as much as that we create the challenges, we also create the triumphs. At the same time, our power as the human is in the conscious choices we make as we navigate our blueprint. So if we're living life unconsciously, and I don't mean, when I say conscious, I don't mean perfection and meditating every moment, every day, and never doing anything wrong. It's not that. It's about being real with yourself, right? Like, why am I doing the actions I'm doing? Does this align with me? Does this feel a part of what I want to be? Does it not? If not, I change it, right? Consciousness. Our conscious choice helps us choose how we navigate those soul lessons we desire to experience. Yeah. If we're unconscious about it, we're going to keep circling around that until we get the consciousness. If we are conscious about it, we might move through them faster, maybe with more ease and grace, definitely more learning. So that was a huge game changer for me in coming back, is being conscious about it. And because of that, and because of my conversations with my guides when I was on the other side, I had sort of made an agreement with them that I would step up in sharing what I've learned from spirit. So it was after that, my mediumship before was only word of mouth. I was busy for nearly a decade, word of mouth. I didn't really say anything, didn't want to offend anyone, didn't want to, and then after the surgery is when I created Avalon Spirit, started the podcast, wrote my book, and was consciously choosing to be an active part of my journey.
I love it.
And sharing. Right? So that was the one thing. The second thing that really happened for me after my near-death experience was my connection to higher realms of consciousness really expanded. And that's where it expanded exponentially into galactics, various galactics, channeling as well, higher dimensional consciousness, like trying to take understandings of frequency, for example, and break it down into tangible understandings to share. Yes. And again, it's never to convince anyone of anything, but it's like, here's what I've learned. If it helps you, great.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for it, it's okay. I get it,
Yeah.
right? That was me with the Pleiadians years before. Wasn't ready. So that's kind of where it's at. And my journey has continued. It's continued. I've hit a couple more of those fuses along the way. And it's just continued to evolve. So
I'm curious, whenever you say you hit the fuses, how did you know?
I hit some hard fuses. Well, I hit one really hard one. So what's interesting is when we have, and I mean, everyone's story is different, right?
Sure.
After my NDE, my chronic health issues improved drastically. It took me a year to finally believe it, that I was like, wow, I haven't gotten sick. I haven't this, that, whatever. And my gifts increased, my reach with spirit increased, and all of this, and things were going really well. And then it started to shift, and I was like, I don't understand. It was supposed to be done, right? But what I didn't realize is I would have to dig deeper into me and my soul history and my ancestry history to change the dynamic of not so much the chronic illness, but like suffering in the family.
Interesting.
And in the soul lineage, and what that meant for me and how that was really embodied in my body. And so I had to, my periods came back with a vengeance, and I was like, doesn't make sense. And had to have a hysterectomy, which then took me down another deep healing route. However, long story short of that, in the healing of that, I unwound significant ancestral biological burdens that are no longer present. So the healing became deeper, and that was a part of me staying. But I wasn't given the understanding of that. That because I chose to stay, I would have to heal deeper to follow my journey farther. Otherwise, I would have stayed on the other side, come back into a different lifetime with a different body to handle the frequency I was coming into. So
makes total sense.
It's evolution.
But you would have still had to hit all those fuse points, you're saying. It didn't matter if you were in a new body or this body. It would still be a part of your blueprint.
To a point, yes. But my body was designed with that exit being a high probability exit. So because I chose not to go, my body had to do serious upgrading to handle it. So it might have been a little bit easier in a new body in a different lifetime, but because I chose to keep this one going, like I had to do a whole overhaul. And I was already like, I lived a very healthy, fit life before. Right? And it was, but once I understood that piece, it just made so much sense. I'm like, and they're like, there's your fuse. But here's the thing with the fuses. They won't give me the understanding it's a fuse until I'm almost complete the lesson.
I got you. Totally got you. The other thing that kept coming up for me as you were saying that, and I was like, well, it makes total sense because you then are here sharing this with us, right? And then you then are the inspiration for others, so that we can have more understanding and acceptance of our own self with total grace. And so that makes sense to me when you say that you had to do the deeper, and it unfolds as you sitting with us, right? Like, and doing these beautiful work that you do. One of the other questions, how does this now help how you work with clients or people that come and seek more guidance?
Gosh, in so many ways.
Right.
In so many ways. It's given me a greater lens of perspective on, first of all, if somebody comes to me and they're really stuck in a pattern and they want the spirit world to say something different than what they're saying, I have greater capacity to hold space for them, because I understand what it's like when you're like, I don't like how this is, I want to change it, but you haven't gone through all the pieces to change it yet, right? So I've learned much greater compassion. I've also learned a greater understanding of why the tough things happen in our lives, right? Again, in that conscious choice piece, like that's given me a lot more grace in moving through those pieces. And then it's also just, the visits on the other side. And, during my hysterectomy that I had a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, um, that was also another massive experience on the other side, not crossing over though. That was the astral experience, but that connected me deeply, even more deeply to the galactic. So, all of these experiences have given me a greater reach.
Yeah.
But they've also tested me greatly in order to hold the responsibility of that reach. That makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. And thank you for being the person that can be here to help guide and, provide more insight for this crazy life.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because when you were talking, I was having sort of a visual of our frequency as well, so to speak. In other words, like, so if you have something else that next you need to learn from, that would mean that you came in with this certain, I guess, it's like a lock and key system, this certain lock where you have to go through something in this life to get the key to have that next nexus point, which
Absolutely.
would, in sacred geometry and the frequency and everything, really line up because you'd be a frequency match for it all and all along the way. So anyway,
Exactly.
that might be more than
Exactly.
people
So
need, but
Beautiful
yeah,
description. I love
it
that.
is. It is.
good.
Yeah.
One of the things I found fascinating in your description, because when I was reading your bio to myself earlier, I saw the word blueprint, and I work with clients to navigate their blueprint, right? And I tried to call it something else,
Mhm.
and I tried again to call
Yeah.
it something else.
Mm.
And I kept getting I kept seeing blueprint everywhere, first of all, like just not even just I kept seeing the word. And then the other thing is that Spirit very specifically said no, it is blueprint. And then I wanted to know why.
Why is it blueprint?
And I was like, is it that, it's like did we pull that from the ethers and start calling other things blueprint? And it was always that way. And so that's kind of what I gathered from the way that you were explaining that. And I thought, because I thought it was so funny that they were just like, no, it is blueprint. And they wouldn't let me name it anything else. Like it had to be that. And I thought, I was like, it's just so used.
And words are always just the direction to go.
Correct.
That's just the most aligned word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, Spirit doesn't let me use the words that are all wrong sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
I feel
Go
like
ahead.
we want time for you,
Yes, I
people
do.
to demonstrate, for you to
Yes.
demonstrate your work. And we went really way into the story. And I know that you're just this insane medium. And I do feel like I would like to have some callers maybe raise their hands and experience your work.
Sure.
And
I
is there a
can,
way they can ask a question? Maybe we ask that question, like if they're going to come with something, how would they ask a question?
yeah. So what tends to work best for me in group settings is like if we were to, there's guides that I channel called the Three Guides of the Light,
Uh-huh.
and they are light consciousness. You could imagine them as being the sun, but they are the consciousness within a photon, essentially. They came to me in about 2020.
That's so weird.
so-
I keep looking at Jen. I'm sorry. I keep looking at Jen because we've been having a lot of side conversations, and everything that you're saying, and even the speaker before, is just like the exact thing that we either have been speaking about, or it's just the next piece of it. I mean, it is golly so divinely guided. So thank you for it. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I would be happy to bring any kind of messages that they can offer. I find for me,
Okay.
group individual readings of like departed loved ones gets very confusing.
Okay.
It's kind of like everybody runs in at the same time. So that's why usually if I do readings, I'm going to do them one-on-one. Because you should see how funny it can be on the other side. I sometimes have to like put them in a lineup, almost like you would see like a club line where you're like, you have to let them in one at a time.
Right.
So for ease and grace, I can definitely channel questions to the Three Guides of the Light.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want them to raise their hands and ask something or? Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, Mia, wait, no, we have to start with Mystique. Tiffany, you're up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I have a specific question. I saw a figure when I woke up this morning. It was about 4 foot. But when I woke up, I was coming out of a past life nightmare, and I only saw it for a quick flash, and I was just curious as to what it was.
Did you notice that it was dark?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's happening right now? This is a great question because it's really, really prevalent in the energies right now. So, around after Christmas, but specifically kind of like New Year's Eve, and then leading up to the full moon we had on January 3rd, the wolf moon. The wolf moon brought in this new template, new timeline template, so to speak, that has been coming for a long time. And it's now sort of been laid down. And at the point when we hit the eclipse on February 17th, which is also when we change from the snake astrology of Chinese astrology to the fire horse, from the 3rd of January to February 17th, this new timeline template is being anchored in. Okay. And it's anchoring in and it has a higher frequency to it. And it has like higher manifestation abilities. So I love that there was a talk on manifestation before. But what's happening is in 4D, okay, right, just beyond where we are in 3D, there's a big influx of darker energies. Some people would call it demon. Some would call it dark energy. Some would call it, I call them peskies because really they're just a bit of a nuisance in a sense. What they're trying to do is prevent humanity from making a beautiful leap and transition into this new template. So they're coming in to infiltrate dream state by making it really chaotic. They're coming in to infiltrate your thoughts. So if you're feeling really low, they will come in and try to amplify that lowness. The same way our spirit guides will try and come in and amplify our positivity and our insights, the equal balance of that is they will try and come in and amplify the lowness. So the key right now, especially until we hit kind of mid-February into March, more like the astrological new year, is to really be thoughtful of the words you are using for yourself. Clearing your energy before bed, like I do not want any energies of lower frequency in this dimension or others to infiltrate my dream state, my astral state, whatever that might be. Be very clear with your words. And then also notice the words that you're speaking because they're basically here to just try and be like a bully on a playground to make you feel less than so that we don't anchor in as well to this beautiful new timeline. Does that make sense?
Wow. I'm so glad I asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the advice also.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, distractor energies. That's a great way to say it. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, is it up to me? Okay, next one. Mia.
Sorry.
Wow. That was amazing. And Tiffany, we're glad that you asked as well. And doesn't that align for those who've been following along the summit with what Amba Jama was saying as well?
Yep.
I mean, it's mind blowing how all of these everybody's here sharing in the way that they do. And that's the reason why we have various different speakers and they may share on different aspects of what they receive, but we receive all different as well. And so I'm hoping that, the different pieces that you're finding in the summit, everyone, is that you're being able to find who you resonate with and who you can receive from as well. And where you're hearing the information from and take it or leave it for whatever works for you.
Look at why you don't think you can receive from
Exactly.
if you really want some growth there.
Very funny.
Okay, great. All right. Mia, you're up.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have been having some really loud ringing in my ear, like almost like sonar level ringing in my left ear, and I'm just wondering if anybody or if you know what that might be.
Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, they're saying that there's two parts to it. So one part, there is a slight Congestion. Are you having any sinus stuff on that side at all? They're saying there's a slight congestion. That is only part of it, though. Okay. The other part, though, is you're really becoming sensitive to frequential awareness. So you're literally hearing this like new template, frequency template, right? Like you're hearing the changes of frequency. You could test it out too if you wanted. If you were to go by like a big electrical box on the road, like on the street where they usually have them covered, if you were to stand by there, you would likely pick up an amplified humming as well. So your ears are registering the frequencies as well as a bit of congestion. Now the frequencies, there's a big, like I said, earth frequency shift that's happening, but you may also, this may continue in a smaller way for you to recognize when different spirit guides are near or past loved ones or anyone in a higher frequency. You might pick it up, but not at the intensity it is right now, because they're saying the root of it right now is slight congestion plus earth template. Does that make sense to you?
That's interesting that you say that, because I kind of thought that some sort of spirit was trying to talk to me and I'm just not tuned in on the right channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We have a question on the chat, and it comes from Irene. She says, what can you tell me about, I hugged a friend and my body got full body chills. And just wants to know a little bit about what that could mean.
Okay. So, pardon my voice. I've been talking too much lately.
Oh, I know. I gotcha.
Okay. So there's a couple things. So your body could be picking, well, okay, essentially what's happening is you are empathically picking up on that change in her frequency because there's something different. Because she's your friend, she already has a known frequency to you that your body recognizes the same way your eyes recognize what she looks like. Your body recognizes her frequency, right? And you kind of get together, your auras kind of blend together, and that's normal. When there's a change, most likely a higher frequency for her, but they're also telling me sometimes it could also be if she had a spirit connected to her, you might be feeling that as well. So essentially what's happening, you're noticing a change in the frequency of her auric field, but what it is would depend on kind of what's going on. So that would be a great time for you to say, what's new? What's happening? What's different? And then you would start to get insights from her about what it is. But yeah, change in frequency.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Dana, you're up.
Hi, Ginette.
Hi, Dana.
So I'm wondering if I can have some wisdom expansion regarding my channeling.
Okay, sure. Any particular question with it or just in general?
Just in general. It's starting to blossom more, and I'm just wondering if it's just waiting for the space that I'm making to really come fully on, or if there's something else.
Okay. Okay, this is interesting. They're saying, excuse me, they're saying it's almost like a zipper. So if this was a zipper, they're showing me the zipper. And as you've been stepping into your channeling more the zipper is opening. But there's one last piece at the bottom. And they're telling me it's connected to a past lifetime in which you and another, so it was like, I don't know if it was a relationship bond, like a romantic relationship, a twin relationship, friend relationship, but you and another were silenced in your voices. They showed me tape or like leather across the mouth. And so there's one last soul piece of release for everything to flow more smoothly and for everything to present itself.
I wonder if it's connected. I know that in a past life that I was beheaded for speaking my truth. And I know that I've been healing that in this lifetime. And I wonder if it's connected to that. But I thought that it was mostly healed.
I know, isn't that's the thing, is whenever I've had this happen many times too. So I hear you on this. We think we've healed something and we're like, I've literally done everything possible, but they're showing me there's one last piece. And so I feel like it's less about having to dig into it intellectually, but rather releasing it. Like I keep hearing sound. When you channel, do you also add sound? Do you add like humming or just tones?
So yes, sometimes, yeah, I do relate to lots of like sound healing and toning.
Okay, so if you can get into the deeper tones, now whether you can produce those tones yourself in your voice would be amazing. If you can't, though, even using like a deeper tone, like C note, a really nice C note, or even a gong to get that lower note, it's right at the base. Like if I was to feel it, it feels like right sort of where my clavicle meets, and there's that little dip in the throat. It's right there. That is the last piece of that zipper to free kind of the jacket, if you will, that's sort of been holding you. It's kind of like when the jacket's stuck at the bottom. It's like that. But I feel it's more through toning and just being aware of it rather than having to consciously unpack it.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I have done some
Sure.
deep toning before, so I'm just kind of surprised that that's still kind of there.
Have you tried a tuning fork to that spot?
No, I have not tried that.
Okay, they just showed me the tuning fork. So that might be something and that helps.
Okay.
In connection to your own toning, though, again, it's like your voice needs to also do it in the deep
Right.
tones.
Yes. Okay. I'm able to do that. Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Leonka has a question.
We'd like so Ginette and I, we started this business. We've been doing our business separately, and we'd worked together before. And in this iteration, it's been about 2 years, and we wanted to know if there was any messages. And we realized that our business is very conscious, and it has its own message as well. So we wanted to see if there was anything that you could maybe share or give us any
Be
insight.
listening to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not listening.
Let me see. Okay, they're giving me a neat analogy. So I'm going to see if this makes sense to you.
Okay.
Okay, you know when you're riding a bike, and for balance on the bike, you need both hands on the handles, technically, right? So you need both hands on the handles. They're showing me right now there's a big focus on one handle,
Yeah.
and that there's an invitation to focus on the other handle for the balance. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so if you can bring more, again, balance into it with the other handle, you will create this wholeness. And they show me the wholeness then sort of lifts off like a bubble that is effortlessly carried.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to do the other handle.
I think it's system.
Yeah.
Is that what you got?
I think it's sponsorships and some other stuff, some other opportunities. Yeah, definitely.
All right. We each got our own whatever's else
In other words,
handled.
we've gotten this piece really well, and we wanted to get some stuff really solidified and working well. And now it's like, okay, good. Now let's do this, and we could.
It's good.
We don't have to keep our eye on this so much. So we go here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let me just see who's up on the chat because I can't. Paula, you're up next.
I would turn my video on, but my husband has been tinkering with my computer and has unplugged it somehow, and I can't figure it out. So
You're fine.
I honestly don't even know what question to ask. I just feel like my stomach pounding up into my heart right now, and so it's just like forcing me to come on and be like, I don't know. So I'm just asking for whatever it needs to come through.
Okay, let me see. Okay, do you understand? They're showing me the concept of like let your hair down and hair being really tightly bound. Have you been holding a lot of stress lately?
Uh, I mean, think stress around trying to figure things out. Yeah.
Because I see um, they show me a box, and on this box, there's a red center, like the bullseye point. I feel like I could push the box and it would open. But what I get, they're showing me is this box, and then it's like letting, again, spirit speaks in a lot of different ways. Okay. So letting your hair down, flow over the box allows you access into the box. And so there's a disconnect between where you're at right now and where you're wanting to be. And a lot of that is like unwinding the tight frequency. It's almost like, so they're showing me that your frequency right now, again, is tightly bound and it needs a little bit of space in order to come down. So there's like, whether it's de-stressing, whether it's taking more time to slow your day, your mind by other activities that help you feel more grounded, you have complete access to what's in this box. And it's like the universe is trying to get you to push open this box. That's why there's a red mark on it. But there's a bit of a disconnect in your frequency to get there. So there's this releasing. It's almost like a surrender. That's how I would explain it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to cuss, but it's like a love-hate relationship with that word, because it's like I've heard it
Absolutely.
for a while and then I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck does surrender actually mean?
I know. And it's one of the most frustrating messages from spirit. And I have gotten it many times also, because I love to like, give me a list, give me a to-do list, tell me what to do, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, like,
Yes.
and I've had so many arguments with my guides about that. I'm like, just tell me what to do. But whenever we're in a surrender point is the time in which they will not tell us what to do, because we have to discover the surrender. We can't learn it by being told, which is so frustrating to the human mind. We have to experience what letting go of the tight bind is.
Wow. I
Yeah.
got it. Oh, wow. I feel like I've just been rolled over by a boulder in a way. So basically, any time that we come from our head to control something into existence or into place, we are not surrendered. And we're,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And
Oh, I just got
what's
that on a whole new
beautiful
level.
is our spirit guides, though, they will always hold space for us to have like a temper tantrum or to oppose them. This is a big lesson from spirit. They don't want us to follow any religion, any spirit guide, any ascended master, any angel, any person blindly. That would be one of the greatest disservices to our lifetime experience here. They
Yeah.
want us to be co-creators, right? Like, what do you think? Okay, cool. Now we'll work with that, right?
Uh-huh.
And so surrender is part of the lesson in that ability to be a co-creator. However, what I'm getting to is they will always hold space for us to flip out. And I mean that in a really loving way, because as humans, we need to express frustration and anger. And I've had many arguments with my guides being like, and here's one that's funny is I'm like, I remember from my NDE, the perspective from up there of the higher self. I know how you guys think, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, but you are not realizing how it is for the human.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
we'll banter back and forth. Inevitably, I end up having to surrender. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's a process. So I say that with a lot of compassion, because I
Yeah.
really understand how frustrating it is. But I also know how important it is in our journey to learn surrender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Renee, you're up.
Thank you. The previous questions led to mine. I'm currently experiencing or being around a lot of lower vibrational energies, and I feel like I'm using my head to try and raise or protect. And I'm wondering if there's another way for me to sort of process? Or
Like, do you mean like to clear negative energies?
um I don't, I'm so immersed in them, I don't think I can clear. I'm just trying to keep myself in a higher vibration, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Or protection. I'm not really sure. I'm a
Okay.
bit overwhelmed, and I'm
Yeah,
not
and
sure
that's
how to
fair.
do the process because I've never been in a place like this.
Yeah, okay. So, the biggest thing with, I'm just going to call them pesky energies because that's usually how I refer to them, whether it's person, place, or thing. The first thing we have to do with pesky energies is acknowledge them or see them, whether you actually physically see it or not. We have to be able to call it out. So, calling it out is huge, and that's really important for grounding. After that, it might seem really challenging at first, but it's about shifting your attention from that to what are the things that bring you joy? Because the joy frequency or laughter frequency, which I know can be really hard when we're really steeped in struggle or heaviness, but it's that joy frequency that starts to counteract the heavy, dark frequency. And so when I say joy, I don't mean like you just suddenly, you're just happy. Everything's fine. Like that's not what I mean. I mean giving yourself the gift of nourishment, the gift of time and attention for self and what you need. And maybe in that moment, what you need is a warm blanket. And so you give yourself the gift of going to get that warm blanket, pausing your busy day, wrapping yourself in that warm blanket, and just feeling it, right? Something
Okay,
that
and
simple.
focusing on that. Yeah.
Yeah, like shifting.
Okay.
It's all in the little things. It's kind of like, if you've ever changed your diet and you're trying to reach a goal, you have your goal, but the diet happens in every choice you make every time you're putting something in your mouth, right? Every choice.
Yes.
That's where it
Okay.
happens. That's where it changes. Same thing with changing from pesky energies to positive energies. It happens in all of those little moments, help to shift your frequency.
Okay.
So I love that you're tuning into it intellectually, but now you have to, or it would likely help you to really balance it out with those little acts of love for self and
Right.
joy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially the laughter part. That's been actually something I've been using.
Yeah.
So that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fabulous. Let me go ahead and share your special offer at this point. We're just getting a little close on time. Yeah, which we didn't do a ton of deep dive into, but oh my gosh. I feel like I want everything that you do now.
I know.
All right, here we go. This is the special offer from Ginette.
Okay, do you want me to talk about it?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, so these were some downloads and insights for people for like an introduction to what are the galactics. There are a lot of people that have guides that are galactics. They maybe just haven't been showing themselves as a galactic yet because we really are stepping into a time on our planet where we are opening up galactic consciousness purposefully. Humanity is meant to raise their consciousness and become a part of a galactic network versus a singular global network, right? And that's why we're seeing so much more about disclosure and all those things. So the biggest message I've been getting from my guides, who many are galactic, is they want to make the introductions with you, the individual, versus some big event that happens. Because if a big event happens, then we follow the narrative of the event. Whereas if we already make a connection with them individually, we start to understand and see through layers of narratives, we'll call it, right? So in this offering, there are several different videos giving everyone a background of some of the main players within our Galactic Federation Earth Alliance. So there's Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians, reptilians to give people an understanding, and then just a general of the Galactic Federation.
Sorry.
It's a little bit down.
Got it.
Right there.
Okay, got it. Oh no. Okay, so these, sorry, I didn't show it. So these are each modules or programs of, can you just kind of go through? Because I was paying attention to the screen.
That's okay. So they are each sort of like, you can picture it like a lecture or like a show.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Giving insight and information about it. There's also some opportunities to do meditation and experience them a little bit in a very safe way. And again, it's information to resonate with or not, and that's completely okay. But it's about bridging that gap between the world that we live in as a singular planet and the greater collective worlds that we truly are a part of. So
absolutely
amazing.
Wow. That's a great program. So yes, you can get access. It's no, right here. Yes. All right. I'm like all spacey. I'm sorry. I'm like thinking,
okay.
Yes, I'm coming back here to planet Earth just to have this conversation again.
That's awesome. All right.
Wow. Thank you, Ginette. What a dynamic conversation.
Yes, very much so. Do you have any parting words for us today?
Oh, gosh. I think the most important thing we really need to know and anchor into this year, 2026, is gone are the days of martyrdom and feeling like someone outside of us is better than who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in a way of competition, but in like, you matter. Each and every one of you matters exactly as you are, exactly as you were made to be on this planet, with all of the experiences you've had, both good and maybe not so good. You matter without any judgments. And that is the authentic soul that the spirit world wants to connect with and help you create your best journey moving forward. So I hope, if nothing else, 2026 is a year where you feel willing and ready to just be you.
Yes. Wow, I love how you said that. You included all the pieces.
They did.
And I.
It
did. So beautiful. Ginette, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was
fantastic. All right, you guys. So stick around. We've got a couple announcements. I know it's getting long. We've got one more speaker.
To round out this whole beautiful, amazing summit. Can't you just see how like everything adds to each other. And it's so crazy because I will try to put my little pause over everything and be like, this speaker needs to go here or this timing is here. And then people, sometimes a speaker will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick, I have to drop out. So then we'll have somebody else come and be that part. And it's all divinely guided. And I just keep thinking like, I couldn't have done that better. Like, thank you for doing it with me, Ussel.
Yeah. Yesterday we started the day with somebody talking about a real detox.
Yeah,
and then we ended the day with Katie Spear talking about how detox is so important.
And then talked about
a spacious place. Exactly. Mind, body, energy, everything changes with it. So I thought that was
was thinking about the body detox with the healing of the angels, like how that supports each other. Like and then how Ambajam and, the duration of like to the day, right? The energies, describing all of it. What Ginette was talking about today really builds on what Ambajam was talking about. And then I know that there's other correlations that if I just sat down and looked at it, but I always say these calls are so divinely guided, this whole summit, since the first time we first started doing summits. And I remember saying this time last year when we did Rewire. And I'm saying all of this because we have a VIP offer. It's $47. You get access to the summits from the past, and you get this summit. So when I talk about how they build on each other, we have certain speakers that have come back. They'll join us for the live show, and then we will take a break from that speaker, but then there'll be another person that comes in and gives another piece. So a lot of the times all of these are meant to be, yes, you're here with us today, but they're meant to be listened to again, or they're meant to be bookmarked, and you come back and you listen for what's changed and how you receive things differently. I mean, I couldn't, I mean,
You know how
it's divine.
how we've forgotten.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
go back and
Yeah.
listen. I mean,
Yeah.
this could be like this one package for $47 could be absolutely life
Yeah.
changing
Yeah.
in the way you think.
Yeah.
Yep. And
think
it's also included in our membership, by the way.
exactly. And so, so for example, so this time last year we did the rewire.
And my channeling came on,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes. So that's available for you.
Yep.
And one of the things that the speaker explained about how we work with our the inner self, our younger self, was basically in that moment, I really received that we can traverse time and actually go and parent our younger child. Before, I just thought it was like, oh, I just, okay, little Leonka as an image, right? Like as a just pretend. No, because there's no time and space, we can go back and be that for our inner child, and the inner child can then rewrite what the past was, and then it affects your future, but it's all happening simultaneously. It's just what you require. So again,
I remember that moment.
Yes.
And look how many like loud epiphanies I've had during the series, whenever I'm like,
and Tiffany saying yes, explanation points,
right?
But like those things build upon each other. So again, we just want to make this super easy
for you to choose.
Yes,
for you to choose.
to get the healing to yes, there's an overhead cost for us to do these kinds of things, and so that goes into that factor. But
we also give back to Rise and
yes,
Up.
we do give back, and so but the bigger picture here is that we want you to have the resources to be able to change. We will always have our live show. We do them Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's free to come, and every speaker is just an invitation. So again, but I just want you to know how divinely guided this is, and how it's really orchestrated, not by just me and Ginette, to help heal and to help create the things that you most want, especially as we head into this new year. There you go. That's my soapbox for the day.
Yeah. And if you are looking for our inner circle and what it's all about, we talked about that on yesterday's show. So if you just want to deep dive, and if you just want to look into it, it's our special offer right there. So that would be a way to get in the inner circle. And if you've noticed, those are the people we call on first.
Yes.
Those are the people that are rallying in the chat and rallying and talking to each other in the chat. They're friends. And this is that kind of, I've met my people group. And it's small right now.
We didn't tell them, and because we were taking
we didn't tell them.
because we were having an epiphany moment. And I'll just say this. Remember when you were like, I used to poo-poo, whatever, right? Vision boards.
I used to call them vision boards.
I don't even like the word
BORED.
I hate that word.
Full circle.
So yeah, bored. Yeah, she's bored. So, but when it was so funny because I was looking through where she was looking through her magazines and stuff, and she found a place where she had cut out pictures and all the things
that come true.
We're talking about all of them. Look, I was like, is this not you? Is this not your beach house? Look, I'm looking in the living room. And she's like, oh my gosh. I cannot even describe how amazingly close all of the things were. And she's like, oh yeah. I mean, she really had them.
That is the dog.
And so for me, my experience with vision board, we'll get to what we're going to do and why it's way better than just a vision board.
Yep.
But how it's a key integral piece. Everything, I made a vision board about 3 years ago, and everything on that vision board has come true, or this or something greater. So I had some stuff about work. I got laid off because this is greater. And so I really thought that was a piece that I wanted to try and keep doing. But I had wrote on there, this or something greater. And I had no idea, but I knew that I was going to be doing something in this way. I had no idea it was going to be this amazing. So just it's important that we do have those signposts with visual cutout, like whatever that looks like for you. Now, that being said,
and one of the reasons that is important is so that you really get to acknowledge yourself for, wow, I actually did create this.
Yeah, that's
And then
true
you
too,
get
right?
to build on
That's
that
true. That's
frequency
true.
as well, to the point that you get to, I am the creator of this reality.
Yes. So now with that information and all building upon all the things that we're learning, right? Utilizing the knowledge of, and we've got practices and ways that we do this very well, so that through hypnosis you're able to really truly step into that vision and get the feelings of what it would be like to have that, right? Like, let's say you were trying to manifest $10,000 a month, every month, as that's what you do, right? And you're like, yeah, I'd like to have $10,000 a month every month.
Mhm.
And if I asked you right now, I say, let me just say, pretend like I gave you a $10,000 check, right? And you'd been visualizing it, and you had been putting it out into the world, and like, you're stepping into it, and I hand you a $10,000 check. What did that feel like?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you'd be excited. You'd be like, whoa, just imagine you can receive it, like
Yes.
all the things, right? And then you sit there and be like, oh my God, universe really does have my back. It's stepping into, we teach you these principles about stepping into that energy so that you can create the $10,000 a month. It works for every single aspect of your life. And so when we couple that with the vision and the imagery with the frequency, getting to the point, we're having a workshop, and we're going to do this.
That was a good explanation.
Good. We are going to do this with the Mystique members, and so they're going to get that for free, because they're part of a member. So if you sign up for membership, you will also be invited to the workshop,
which we are going to sell separately for $55.
Yes. And it is going to happen right before the Chinese New Year, so February. So for the February call, it's the 2nd February. This next
second
month,
Wednesday.
Sorry, 2nd February.
In February, it's the second Wednesday.
In February.
We'll send out more details.
It'll be a 2-hour workshop, and it'll be amazing. So I'd love to have you there.
I'm personally excited to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And what we really want, it might actually end up having an extension that only Mystique members get. But what I would like to is really leave them with a project for a month where they have to actually.
We're gonna do. And we're gonna be facilitating, us get, have, receive, be, all of those things that we are outlining, and. We are also going to teach you how to do a mind movie using AI.
Oh, we can do
that. So it's exciting.
And we'll do hypnosis anchors with it.
I know, it's gonna be fun, y'all. So it's just to be on the lookout. If you're interested, message us at team@houthustle.com or join the Mystique. There you go.
Just glasses on head. All right. Woo!
I love it.
I love this feeling when I'm so spacey like this. It's just like, and everything aligns.
I know.
Hi, Marina.
Hi.
All right, let me stop the recording.